Maggie Haberman is releasing a new book, and there seems to be some wild information coming out of it, specifically about Trump's final days in the White House and his beliefs at that time. So I'll show you this breakdown on CNN about this, but it is just unbelievable what this man thought that he could do, what he was going to try to do, and his mindset at the time.
There are. Now, according to Maggie's reporting, in those final days, Trump insisted he would not be leaving the White House. Now, this left aides confused and uncertain as to what he would do next. New revelations on the final days of former President Donald Trump's presidency. In reporting provided to CNN from a forthcoming book by New York Times reporter Maggie Haberman, Trump repeatedly told aides following his election loss that he would refuse to leave the White House.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election.
And frankly, we did win this election.
Haberman's book, Confidence Man, The Making of Donald Trump and the Breaking of America, reports that Trump told one aide, quote, "I'm just not going to leave," and saying to another, quote, "We're never leaving. How can you leave when you won an election?" Trump's insistence that he would not leave the White House has never been previously reported and shines a new light on the chaotic final days of his administration. Haberman writes of a shift in Trump's private comments on the election loss. In the immediate aftermath of the 2020 presidential election, Trump seemed to recognize the loss. He comforted one advisor saying, "We did our best," and told junior press aides, "I thought we had it," seemingly almost embarrassed by the outcome.
If the Electoral College does elect President-elect Joe Biden, are you not going to leave this building?
Just so you, certainly I will. Certainly I will. And you know that. But I think that there will be a lot of things happening between now and the 20th of January. A lot of things.
So this, we're going to keep playing it because it's just so fascinating and historic. But Trump definitely, right after the election, kind of recognized what happened. And then, and this is debated, and I don't have 100% on it, but I think he talked himself into the lie. I think he, at this point, maybe has a inkling of a thought that it's not true, but genuinely has deluded himself into believing he actually won.
But at some point, Trump's mood shifted, and he was heard saying he would not leave. He was even overheard asking Republican National Committee Chair Ronna McDaniel, "Why should I leave if they stole it from me?"
So we'll stop it there, but wild stuff. A president of the United States, of course, this is just reporting from aides around him, so this isn't something that could be used in a court of law, but understanding that what we saw publicly lines up with that. We saw this shift in attitude. We saw him stop using language that would indicate he was going to leave, or that he did lose, obviously. And it's just so dangerous that we had a president of the United States who genuinely wanted to stay in the White House when he lost an election. Guys, that is, I know we talk about it all the time on the show, but the more information that comes out, the more of a scary picture that is depicted. That is democracy ending type behavior, because the reason why that didn't work for him is he didn't have enough people behind him in the government to make that happen, right? But if he genuinely had that intention of staying in the White House through whenever the next president was supposed to be inaugurated, and he had the support of more people in government, that could have happened. And I don't know what processes would have had to take place to physically remove him. We've talked about this. Who does that? Secret Service, the military. Not something we've ever dealt with before, so there wasn't a clear answer to that question. But it was a scary thought nonetheless. And so seeing now that behind the scenes, Trump was believing things that lined up with the statements he was making publicly is fascinating. Because I thought I would flip back and forth, but sometimes I would think Trump's just trying to put this out there to continue making his followers think that he won so that he could stay relevant and not be seen as a loser. But if he's behind the scenes going, "They stole it from us, so I'm staying in the White House. We're not leaving. We can't leave because we won this election." That's real delusional type behavior, and very, very scary as I continue to use that word, because that's the one that keeps coming to my head. What else describes a president who genuinely thought that he could and wanted to attempt to stay in power after he lost an election? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the threat to democracy that Biden and tons of people have been screaming about for the last few weeks especially. Please believe it wherever you stand politically that there is a real threat posed, and we can't survive as a democratic country the continuation of this type of behavior in the position of power, such as the president.